So 2016, I started to look at anime more seriously again, and it also was a great year for it. We had Deku trying to be the greatest hero over at My Hero Academia, the fourth JoJo going on what would be his family's fourth bizarre adventure, and Yuri and all the other pretty boys on ice. But while this was going on, there was a show that went a little under the radar, in my opinion, and that was Drifters. Drifters was created by Koto Hirono, who also created Hellsing, an anime that imagined Dracula as a gunslinging monster hunter. Like in Hellsing, Drifters is a combination of genres that I absolutely love. So, in my head, I was like, why not? Let's talk about Drifters. I'm going to be talking about what I usually do, which is the world, the story, and the characters. So hey, it's Keith, not Keith, here to ask you that question yet again. Should you give it a shot? Drifters. I found the world of Drifters to be very different than what we've seen in a while. You see, Drifters is set in an alternate world that is very Lord of the Rings and Dungeons and Dragons feel. There are elves, orcs, and dwarves. You can tell that the world is fleshed out by looking at the different areas. They all feel different. The Southerners do not look similar to the Northern folk, and the different races are born with different skills. Dwarves are good at foraging, elves are excellent marksmen, and orcs are strong brutes. I mean, even the government that they are formed is interesting. It is reminiscent of a pre-World War II Germany because, well, Hitler created the government there. I'll explain it in the story. The world of Drifters is filled with different factions of people that shape the world and the fate of it. You have the Drifters, heroes, leaders, and great warriors from different areas and cultures that have been brought together by an unknown world by Murasaki, where they are meant to fight the ends. A common element to Drifters is that although they are driven by violence and victory, in conquest, most of them are not cruel and do not tolerate hurting of innocents. Unlike the Ents, the Drifters have no magical abilities unless they were born with them, and therefore most largely rely on their technology and their tenacity to divide, i.e. Toei-Hisa's blade and samurai skills, Billy the Kid using a Gatling gun, and Oba Onaga's fierce mind. The Drifters are also allied with demi-humans such as the dwarves and elves. They are also allied by the Octoberst organization, who are a group of human mages that are native to this land, whose duty is to observe and gather the Drifters together to fight the Ents. Unlike many of the people in this world, the Octobersts do not subjugate the demi-humans and is led by a Drifter, Abe no Semi. And then you have the opposing force and the main antagonist within the Ents. The Ents are like the Drifters, mainly composed of powerful historical figures who have died under unorthodox and often violent circumstances. But unlike the Drifters, however, the Ents are revered humans that have forsaken their humanity and are thus capable of using supernatural powers, i.e. Joan of Arc being burned by the stake, she was granted the power of flames, and Anastasia was killed in the middle of the dead of winter in Russia, and she is able to control ice. Most of the Ents are driven completely by an intense hate for humanity and for their various betrayals they suffered on Earth, which leads to the possibility of the Black King, the leader of the Ents, being a representation of Jesus, as he gave everything for humanity. They shunned him. So now he takes demi-humans that are treated lesser, such as the ogres and the orcs and the kobolds, and teaches them to rise up. They seem to have been brought into this world by Easy, who is at odds with Murasaka, which then leads us to her story. Two celestial beings basically playing a game of chess, the quiet Murasaka and the arrogant Lolly Easy. These two are exact opposites of each other and are more story than character. They sit there and watch how the tied-up battle turns. Murasaki uses his newspaper, and Easy uses the social media app. So the story is basically, let's take people from the past and watch them change the landscape of this world. The story begins with Toei-Hisa walking to his death after a great battle, and then ending up in a room with Murasaka, where he's there to be judged, and then thrown into the door to the other world. So, the story is split into point of views of different characters and how they interact with each other, but they mainly follow the three Drifters. Most of the characters you follow in Drifters are from history: Billy the Kid, Joan of Arc, Hannibal Barca, but most predominantly we follow three Japanese historical figures: the war-hungry swordsman Shimazu Toei-Hisa, the Demon King Oda Nobunaga, and the youthful archer Nasu no Yoruichi. You follow these three as they travel the world of Drifters, but I honestly think that these three characters play a great contrast with one another and work well with each other. The relationship with Yunobu Nobunaga and Toyohisa is one of father and son. Although neither want to admit it, Nobunaga sees a lot of his son in Toyohisa, who died trying to defend his honor, while Toyohisa sees Nobunaga as a father figure because he sees the same kind of spirit his father once had. Yoichi is conflicted with tactics of his two comrades because in history, Yoichi lived 100 years before either two and grew up in a more Bushido-led period where honor is everything compared to seeing dirty, deceiving tactics that are used by Nobunaga. Though these are the main three characters, I can't help but believe that the story is about Toyohisa. Toyohisa is the samurai during his Sengoku period. The reason what makes him such an interesting character is how he values human life. It's weird. He can go from mowing down enemies and taking their heads, which is a sign of respect in ancient Japan, to showing the humanization for people who have been oppressed and beaten. I'm going to take a scene where he and two other people are about to liberate the women that were captured by the soldiers. Two men want to kill the soldiers on an act of revenge for all the pain they have caused them, while Toyohisa dismisses the idea by saying the soldiers have lost and surrendered. There is no more need for worthless bloodshed. This is until he walks into the room where he sees the women that they're about to be freed being abused and raped by the soldiers, which causes Toyohisa to snap at the fact that they are abusing the women, and they do deserve to die because they are no longer men but animals. This notion of never hurting women is then made more clear with the Battle of Joan of Arc, where Toyohisa doesn't believe in laying a hand or hurting some woman because he believes there is innocence. For Joan, she sees this as a sexist belief and wants to prove she is as strong as a man. Also, as a bonus plus, I have to give it to Drifter's awesome animation when it comes to fight scenes. I love the fluidity of most of the fights. The aerial combat scenes are stunning. The close-up hand-to-hand fights are amazing. The animation of the sword fights are fast-paced and doesn't slow down unless just showed the definition of a slash. My favorite fight would have to be between Toyohisa versus Hijikata. They are not only enemies because of their sides they are on, one being a drifter and one being an ent, but on their ideology of what it means to be a samurai. As Toyohisa was not killed by people he thought he was trying to save, and Hijikata was. But as much as I love Drifters, I still find there are a few things that are wrong with it, or at least I dislike. The chibi art style in some parts of it are jarring because it somewhat takes you out of the moment. This is a common thing though in Hirana's art style. You see this in Hellsing and The Lake. It's personally really short and it ends in a cliffhanger and it's been 2 years and god damn it, I want more. I think Drifters is a show you should give a shot because right from the opening song Gospel of the Throttle, that high-octane feel never leaves you. It keeps you interested throughout the entire series, from interaction to characters to the way the world looks. I also think you should give it a shot if you loved Hellsing. To me, it took what Hellsing was doing and polishes it up much better. Instead of putting the myth in the real world, you put the real world in the myth. So, my name's Keith, and this is why I think you should give Drifters a shot. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Sorry, work has been weird, so I haven't had time to post stuff, but I'm going to try to be better at it. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and always, stay awesome, guys.